Welcome to our Communiversity today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber and Company, a community affairs program from West Virginia Institute of Technology in Beckley, hosted by Dr. T. Ramon Stuart, president of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, working to make a difference in Southern West Virginia. Guest opinions expressed on this program may not represent the opinions of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, Southern Communications, or its sponsors. And now, with today's program, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome to our Communiversity today. I'm Dr. Ramon Stuart, president of WVU Tech here in Beckley. And I'm thankful that you chose to be with us today as we explore our Communiversity. When we talk about Communiversity, we believe that the community is the university and the university is the community. And with that in mind, it brings me quite joy to bring together the community and the university to explore not only one, but two questions. And that's simply, why not us and why not now? And as we look to answer those questions today, we have a special guest, Bill Miller, a local entrepreneur that you may know from the insurance world, but he's also here to help lift up our veterans as the organizer of the Veterans Day Parade. This is so special for me because I always talk about being from the free state of McDowell County, where we have the nation's longest running Veterans Day Parade. And so I'm glad to see people here in Raleigh County and throughout Southern West Virginia are continuing that tradition. And so as we go through this episode, we're going to explore Mr. Miller's vision and how veterans will be celebrated. So right after this break, we'll be back with more Our Communiversity today on News Talk WWNR.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride at Pendleton Community Bank. Our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
There are so many ways to explore WVU Tech. Come tour our state-of-the-art facilities, meet our Dean of Students, and learn about student life, from clubs to mental health resources and student support services. See what living on campus is like and get financial aid advice. You'll see why being a Golden Bear is right for you. Visit wvutech.edu/admissions for all the ways to visit our campus.
If your website's lame and it does no good, who you gonna call?
Cucumber! Having your own website doesn't have to be frightening. Cucumber and Company's proven approach will get you online fast. And our prices slime the competition.
Server crashed last night. You ain't got no site. Who you gonna call?
Cucumber! Call Cucumber and Company today, 304-250-0123, or online at cucumberandcompany.com.
Welcome back to our Communiversity today. Again, we're visiting with Bill Miller. Some of you may know him from the insurance world, but he's also an entrepreneur that believes in service. And we're going to discuss the upcoming Veterans Day Parade here in Beckley, West Virginia. Mr. Miller, how are you today?
Doing just fine.
Excellent, excellent. So glad to have you in studio today. Mr. Miller, I was saying, you're in the insurance and you're an entrepreneur, internationally known and locally respected with the NRA and different entities. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where'd you come from? How long have you been here and what have you been doing?
I grew up in southern Delaware at the beach, and really great place to grow up. I can't say enough. But what I can say is people from outside of our area started moving in, and because of that, that area started changing. And I was down here working for an employer starting a retail store, and what I met was these wonderful people in southern West Virginia, and it was felt just like home. So when I had a chance to go back to Delaware and work in other jobs, I made the decision I was going to stay not where the money was at, but where the people were at. I really enjoy southern West Virginia.
I love it. Every time I talk to a guest that's not from West Virginia, specifically southern West Virginia, I'm always intrigued by the draw that they have to come here with us, because unfortunately, one of our biggest exports is our talent. And so I'm glad that you saw the people of West Virginia as an asset. What is it about the people of West Virginia do you think is most desirable or most attractive?
How friendly and outgoing they are to help other people. It's just a very important part of life. You can either chase the money or you can chase the lifestyle. And the lifestyle here in Southern West Virginia is second to none.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I do know, the beach is one thing, but West Virginia has a reason why it's called almost heaven. And, when we look at the beauty of this state, especially being here in the New River Gorge region, we got Bridge Day coming up and a couple other festivals, the fall foliage out there. It just reminds you of the beauty of this state.
Yeah, you have these quote unquote national treasures located around us, but I think they're really lucky to be close to the people here in Beckley.
Yeah, well, certainly. And how long have you been here in Southern West Virginia?
1976, December of 1976, I came to Beckley, West Virginia.
Okay, yes, just a couple years, and coming
days.
up on half of a century. But so in your time, you came here as to open up a retail store and everything. And I mentioned you're an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about your professional life.
Well, aside from being a person that grew up in the corporate world and being in larger retail stores and larger corporations and stuff like that, when it came to Beckley, me and 4 other guys were starting our own retail store, soon to be chain, and it was very interesting. But after a while, working for a couple other chains and stuff like that, I just really wanted away from the corporate world. So what could you do? At that time, interest rates were extremely high. So that meant if you were buying merchandise to resell, you had a high interest rate to calculate into that sales of the goods. And so where could I go? Well, the insurance industry, basically, you carried these little rate manuals. And so all you had was paper. And you didn't have that expense, but you did have your own time to put into it. And realizing how much help I could be to people, helping them go through their planning and stuff like that was a big plus to it. And it's just really turned out to be a good career. And I can look around with a lot of people I've been able to help in ways that you wouldn't imagine at the start of that day you were going to be that helpful to someone. But before the day was over, you look back and were really glad you did what you did for a living.
Yeah, I love it. Being comfortable and confident enough to venture out into different endeavors, going from retail to insurance. And so how was that journey?
Took a lot of work, but what else? What worthwhile doesn't take a lot of work?
Yeah, my grandmother used to always say when I was a little boy, nothing comes easy in life but trouble. And so your willingness to work at it and so forth. Now, I mentioned in looking at your background information and everything, and I think this is very relevant, that you've worked on the national level with the National Rifle Association, also known as the NRA. That particular stuff, you go from being in retail sales to insurance. How did you get involved with the NRA?
Well, basically, it was at a time in Beckley that a lot of people shot their guns off their back porch. And I came from an area that just wasn't possible because there were houses around and people around and stuff like that. So quite a number of us looked at getting together on a social basis and going shooting together once a month. And we formed a club out of that, and it really turned out good. And then being around that and seeing what was going on with legislative actions being taken by certain people trying to restrict the ownership of guns and restrict the ability for people to purchase guns and have them for their own protection or whatever, got me involved in it. And the more I got involved, the more I found there were a lot of misdeeds going on. And having said that, just willing, I was very willing to give back some to my fellow citizens and stand up a little bit for their rights.
Yeah. So in your work there, you talked about your guns and having the shooting club and everything, and you have taken some of your interest there, whether it's a collection in guns, but you also started collecting some special kind of vehicles.
Yes. my father was a World War II veteran, and as time goes on, World War II guys did not like to talk about their service very much. It was kind of like they went through something so horrific, they really wanted to forget a lot of it and go back to their civilian lives. Well, as he got older, and then I got meeting other older veterans and talking to them, I realized that there was a need for someone to show their appreciation. And then we run into the local American Legion here. The local American Legion, they ran their own show, kind of thanking themselves for the service. And I kept saying to myself, why are we doing it like that? The community should be thanking our veterans for what they did. So that started a little movement, a bunch of people. And then we got to the particular points in our lives that we were able to step up and say to these veterans, look, let us run a parade for you, which now has turned into a Veterans Day celebration to honor these veterans that reached out to the community and did their duty and their service. And we want to tell them thanks for what you've done for us. We really appreciate everything.
Yeah, and I'm so anxious to get into talking about that celebration more because it's coming up in November. But I want to spend a little time real quick on your father, him and all the other people from Normandy to, the Second World War, where we really fought Nazi Germany and really advanced and came into a period of prosperity for not only the nation, but West Virginia. His experience, you say, really got you to thinking about, getting involved with veterans and stuff like that. And you're a collector by nature, and you started collecting vehicles and tanks and stuff to commemorate that.
Yes, one of the things we found had a particularly good business year, and everybody always wanted to have their own quote-unquote World War II type Jeep. And so it was a good business year, so I reached out and bought one. Well, we come back to good old Beckley, West Virginia with it, and there was a car show that weekend out there. We sell a lot of collector car insurance. Having said that, we set up our booth out there as the Crossroads Mall Express asked us to. And in setting that booth up, we parked this World War II Jeep nearby. And boy, I'll tell you what, it was crowded with people looking at it, talking about it, having a good time, telling their stories from what happened where and when and all this stuff. So we continued doing that with the Veterans Parade, and one thing led to another, and one group would come to us and say, hey, you don't have any Vietnam Jeeps. Okay, went out and found a Vietnam Jeep and got it for them. Don't have any Korean War, went out and got one. And on up to eventually some people came back and said, hey, we drove tanks when we were in the service. Why don't you have a tank here? So we found one.
You found a whole tank?
It was junk, okay? It was basically suitable for junkyard only. But we bought it, brought it back here, and our crew of volunteers, we went and restored it. Well, that's a funny story in itself because the D-Day celebration group over in France heard about that I had this thing. So they called me up one day and said, hey, we'd like to buy it from you. And I said, of course, no, never.
Now, D-Day didn't happen right down the street, right?
Right. That's across the ocean.
Across the pond.
Yes. And so they showed up here, spent 3 days in Beckley, talked me out of it. We've got a warm bond going on. They want to take me a tour all the places my dad was in battle. It was in Europe because he started in North Africa is when he did his landing with Patton and their group. And it just, how's a nice way that relationship just turned into a real nice situation.
Oh, this is excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, again in studio, Bill Miller, local entrepreneur, but the architect behind the Veterans Day celebration. Well, we're going to take a short break, so stay tuned to News Talk WWNR for more Our Communiversity Today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Pendleton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
If your website's lame and it does no good, who you gonna call?
Having your own website doesn't have to be frightening. Cucumber and Company's proven approach will get you online fast. And our prices slime the competition.
Server crashed last night. You ain't got no site. Who you gonna call?
Call Cucumber and Company today, 304-250-0123, or online at cucumberandcompany.com.
Looking for the best college decision in West Virginia? WVU Tech has just been ranked the top school in the state and is the college with the best return on investment. Our 6 ABET accredited engineering programs and nursing program are ranked in the top 100 in the nation. When you become a Golden Bear, you're choosing a top quality education that will pay off. Discover more at wvutech.edu today.
Welcome back to our Communiversity today. Again in studio, it was Bill Miller, the visionary behind the Veterans Day, not parade here in Beckley, but the Veterans Day celebration. Now, Mr. Miller, I'd love to talk about tanks and everything like that. You know, as I said, you've done things internationally, but you had the vision or have the vision to do things right here. And I love the notion you didn't want the veterans to celebrate themselves. You wanted to make sure that the community celebrated the veterans. So tell me how you came about kind of leading the Veterans Day celebration here in Beckley.
Well, I was very, very fortunate. I knew some young ladies who would help us with this and do a good job. I reached out to Lisa Strader as well as Jill Moorfield and said, let's get together. I want to talk to you about this. And we sat down and we just had basically an open conversation of how we thought we could get it done and what our goals would be. And it was amazing talking to these girls. Their goals were for expanding this to a celebration as a whole. It really worked nicely, and they continue to be supportive.
Yeah, and you know, we've had Lisa Strader on the show before, and Jill Moorfield has done a lot with the events here in Beckley, and I know she's retiring. So I think I'm going to have her as a guest here soon. Now, with the Veterans Day celebration, obviously Veterans Day is coming up. I think it's November the 11th and everything. So it's a big thing. So tell us more about the Veterans Day celebration. Tell us about what you started with and where you are today.
Well, we started with the three of us, and we tried to reach out to. First off, we tried to reach out with a number of businesses because obviously you need funding to do something like this. So we were very successful. Businesses that really jumped up to help us as much as we even asked for. A lot of them, I just walk in the office and say hello, and they say, how much check do you need today? I mean, it's that type of situation. Everybody is really helpful. The other thing is we've had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, can we help you? Can our group do a float? Can we help direct traffic for you? Is there anything else we could do to help with this? And it's just really just amazed me. You mentioned Jill Moorfield retiring. Well, she's told us for a long time, look, because I'm going to retire doesn't mean I can't be involved with the Veterans Celebration. I want to keep going on and supporting our veterans and saying thank you. That's the type of support we're getting from the community. Just we never know where the next person is going to walk through the door and say, how can I help?
Yeah, you know, I always talk about when dealing with people, the 3 T's. And I just need one, ideally 2, but if you give me 3, it's such a blessing. I need your time, I need your talent, or I need your treasure. And so what sounds like you got time for volunteers. The local business and industry provides treasure. And approximately how much does it take to put on the Veterans Day celebration?
Well, it's hard to talk about in dollars and cents because it more importantly depends upon getting the people. I'll give you a good example. The bands in Beckley, the high school bands. Tim, we have a guy that's a band director. He hopped up. He said, hey, how can I help it? So he works with all the other band directors, helping organize them and getting them involved in not just doing the Veterans Day celebration parade, but also other activities with the bands. And it has really become a lot more active in the Raleigh County area. I mean, these guys have just done a great job, and it's well past the moment of just saying, give me a time and a date. We'll maybe do that. Don't ask us for anything else. No, these folks are saying, what else can we do?
Excellent. I love when people step up. So for our listeners, that same question. Well, what can they do?
Well, two things. One thing is very important, and it happens to all of us as we get older. First off, if you got an older veteran, reach out to him and say, hey, can I take you up to the parade? Or can I help you get there? What can I do? That's one thing. And the other thing is, we got to teach our kids. It is a big problem. These kids are not getting the same education that I know I got. We learned about the different wards. We learned about how our government works. We learned about how everything works in this country. And we learned also that our freedoms derived from our veterans all the way back to the Revolutionary War. Those farmers and I don't know all the stuff they did in the cities and stuff hadn't stood up, grabbed their own personal firearms and went out there and fought the battles, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. It's always said freedom is not free. And for those wars, from the Revolutionary War to the war on terrorism and everything in between, our service leaders have given the ultimate sacrifice in many ways for us to be able to enjoy the freedoms that we bask in on a daily basis. And so I love those two recommendations that you have for our listeners. But when you think about, again, being more than a Veterans Day parade, and I always took pride in Veterans Day because, again, as a kid and growing up in the free state of McDowell County, having the nation's longest running Veterans Day parade, you took great pride in seeing that. And some of the grand marshals were presidents of the United States. Who's your grand marshal?
Well, that's something we let the vets themselves choose, and they haven't really informed me. Even though I've asked, they haven't really made the decision on who they want to get. I think it's this Veterans Parade here in Beckley has been going on since after World War II. And it might have been going on before, but I've just never had anybody mention to me that dates and stuff from before World War II. I know we had a very active military support. Look here down at Canal Street, the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial. They're that big, really nice stone building. It's a nice building. And so Raleigh County's always been involved, I guess, like southern West Virginia as a whole, because a lot of these small towns used to have some sort of Veterans Day parade. I mean, I know with all the military vehicles, we get calls periodically from towns that want us to come, but we're already located here in Beckley and in the intermodal garage down there on not Canal Street, it's Neville Street. And, we have a display set up there, and there's always more and more requests for more and more types. And the other thing is we put storyboards out so people can read them on what the vehicles are, the types and stuff like that. And there's always a crowd of people looking around and wanting to learn about something other. It's just, how's it nice to say? It's just good.
Yeah, I loved it. Last year I got a chance to participate in the parade and rode in one of the antique military vehicles, and it really gave you a sense of pride, just understanding what people did in order to provide the opportunity for us. But speaking of opportunity, you mentioned this is not just a parade, it's a celebration.
Right.
What are some of the other activities that you have going on for the veterans?
Well, we do a veterans luncheon for veterans only in the WVU Tech Culinary Building. I guess that's what your technical name it is. There where the old for us old folks, where the old Montgomery Ward building used to be, and the old Mountain State University bookstore, and that's a good thing because boy, they talk like chickens in a hen house, man. Wanting to talk to each other, enjoy, laugh, and stuff like that. Sometimes they never knew each other until one of them sat down at the table with the other. So that's awful good seeing them just enjoy themselves like that. we'd like, we got two things on our plate to expand. We want to expand to a movie night, which they're working on those details and stuff like that. And then the other thing I'd like to do is Veterans Day is the 11th. On the 10th is the Marine Corps birthday. And we've been reaching out for some time to get bring a Marine Corps birthday right here to Beckley and let those individuals enjoy some of their heritage, because the first quote unquote Army type unit was the Marine Corps on the ships.
Yeah, and so the Marine Corps will celebrate 251 years. So yes. I did not realize the Marine Corps and actually the Veterans Day was right in a line there. Well, this is wonderful, and you mentioned the activities with the culinary program here at WVU Tech. We invite all the veterans participating in the parade as visitors or actual participants to come through and have a lunch prepared by our talented culinarians located at 410 Neville Street, again, the old Montgomery Ward building. And I think one of the neat things, Mr. Miller, that I saw last year from the VA hospital, yes, you all actually brought a busload of veterans over from the VA hospital, and the young people from the culinary program at WVU Tech made their lunches and delivered them to them on the bus. And I think that's the power of Communiversity. I think that's the power of what you're trying to celebrate. And so, ladies and gentlemen, again in studio, Bill Miller, who is going to help us celebrate veterans. And I ask that you stick with News Talk WWNR as we close out this edition of our Communiversity Today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Pendleton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
If your website's lame and it does no good, who you gonna call?
Cucumber! Having your own website doesn't have to be frightening. Cucumber and Company's proven approach will get you online fast. And our prices slime the competition.
Server crashed last night. You ain't got no site. Who you gonna call?
Cucumber! Call Cucumber and Company today, 304-250-0123, or online at cucumberandcompany.com.
Welcome back to our Communiversity Today. Again, I want to thank Bill Miller for joining us and sharing not only his time, but his talent for actually bringing together individuals that want to celebrate our veterans. Again, freedom is not free, ladies and gentlemen. These individuals have fought wars both near and far to make sure that we have the opportunity to make the most that we are blessed to witness the sun rise. So I encourage all of our listeners to come out on November the 11th to not only see a parade, but more importantly, celebrate the veterans that made it possible. Now, there's so many different things going on that I don't want to try to list them. But what I do ask is that you visit wwnrradio.com for additional information, not only about the Veterans Day Parade, but all the Veterans Day celebrations and how you can help build our Communiversity today for a brighter Southern West Virginia tomorrow.
You've been listening to Our Communiversity Today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber and Company, a production of West Virginia University Institute of Technology and Communiversity partner, Southern Communications in Beckley. For more on this program and contact information, visit our website at wwnrradio.com.